Would I be the a-hole if I exposed my sister's affair to her husband? I caught my sister cheating on her husband with a guy. I was shocked because my sister and her husband are the epitome for love that never dies. Literally, they have been together for 15 years and they still look so much in love, the way they treat each other. I felt anger and despair because I love Bill as a big brother and he has been there for my sister when she been her worst mentally. He was there taking care of her without ever once complaining. Now I found out. I confronted her, and she tried to deny it. I told her that she was pathetic and now she felt good about herself. After her husband nursed her back to health, she is paying him with cheating on him. I told her I was going to expose her and she was begging me and crying, telling me I didn't understand. Please don't hurt us. You will be hurting my husband more that you hurt me. After a few days she asked to meet me. She looked like she was crying the whole time. She told me that she has been keeping her husband's secret but she wanted to tell me and made me promise not to tell anyone. Her husband is impotent, and he hasn't slept with her for the majority of their relationship. I didn't believe her, so she showed me all the texts and emails she had with her husband, her therapist, and her diary. He hasn't touched her for almost 12 years. Her depression was because of it and her back to health was because of this new guy. She said that since she started sleeping with him she has been happier, and by extension her marriage and husband have been happier. I asked her why she doesn't just tell her husband. She said that she couldn't because she loves him and she couldn't hurt him. She is afraid he would be so lonely without her because he always said he had no one else in this world and he would die without her. Don't you see that we are all happy? Please don't hurt us. About the guy, she met him through work and actually he is kind of a famous entrepreneur in our city. She showed me texts etc. He is also married but he has 3 children. He has the same problem with his sexless marriage. Yesterday she asked me to meet her. She was with him, the audacity. She looked totally broken and he looked smug and angry and he didn't even want to look at me. She asked me to think of all the people that would be hurt if this came out and she said that they will end their affair and promise to never do it again. He got upset and said or we could just tell everyone and stop hiding. She got angry and told him to shut up. I don't know what to do. She said that she kept her husband's secret because he is embarrassed and he is very possessive and jealous, so he didn't agree to open marriage. She swore it was over with this other guy too and showed me texts where they had huge fight because he actually thinks I should tell her husband so they could be together. But I don't know. He has given her a Cartier love ring that she still has, and when I confronted her she said she couldn't throw an expensive ring, but she will donate it. She wears it in a chain underneath her clothes. I'm sorry this is getting long, but I wanted to include all details. Hope you can give me an honest judgment. Would I be the asshole if I told my sister's husband? I think this whole thing is wrong and the cheated parties need to know the truth, but it will hurt Bill. WIBTA for not wanting to add my half-sister to the deed of a property after my mom's death. My mom passed away in April without a will, and I'm currently going through probate to transfer my parents' properties. I plan to sell the church house and keep the one where my half-sister is living. I am my mom's only child, and my half-sister is on my dad's side, who passed away in 2020. My half-sister has been living at the second property for almost 20 years, paying rent to my dad and then to my mom, since my mom let me handle rent collection. A little over a week after my mom's funeral, she approached me and said, "I'd like to be added to the deed after the mortgage is paid off." I was stunned by the request and didn't know what to say, so I told her I would ask the lawyer about it. I can understand her perspective, as paying rent for 20 years without having property in your name can be frustrating. She might also be worried about me raising the rent. She currently pays $875 in Los Angeles. The mortgage is $500, but the market rate on Zillow is $2,000. However, I have several reasons for not wanting to add her to the deed. My dad used to complain to me about how she took advantage of his kindness by not paying the rent in full by the 1st of every month, half on the 1st and half on the 15th, causing him to make up the shortfall himself until the middle of the month. Sometimes she'd skip a month of rent to go on vacation. While sick with cancer, my dad advised me not to let people take advantage of me, especially if they're family, as it was one of his biggest regrets. She lied to me about the reason my dad raised the rent, claiming it was so he would take over repairs because she was doing them herself with the lower rent. I remember accompanying my dad when he made repairs himself as a kid, so this is obviously not true. Her request to be added to the deed after the mortgage is paid off seems unfair, as it implies she wants the benefits of homeownership without the debt involved if I decided to keep the mortgage. AITA for telling her I will not be going anywhere and she needs to learn to live with it. I dated Max in high school for around a year. My family life was awful and his parents really helped me in that time. After the breakup they didn't cut me off even though I know it caused some issues with Max. When I was kicked out at 17, they took me in. Long story short, I see them as my parents and they see me as their kid. I am close to their daughters and have been going to family events for a few years now. Max is getting married to Cindy. I have met her a few times and before this I thought she was fine. Yesterday I was getting some mac and cheese at the youngest birthday celebration when Cindy came over asking what I am doing. I told her getting mac and cheese and she got angry. She went on a huge tangent about trying to win back Max and how I am not part of the family, that I should get my own family since I am not needed anymore. I told her I am not going anywhere and she needs to live with it. I have been part of this family for 10 years at this point. She ran off after that. I am getting texts from Max that I am a huge jerk and I need to apologize. The rest are staying neutral and the youngest is annoyed at Cindy. So update 1. I called them and explained my side of the story. They were surprised since they got a different story. I don't want to lose my family. I asked them to adopt me as an adult if they wish. They said yes. This conversation topic has happened before. I am also going to reach out to Cindy and Max and explain really clearly I am not a threat to their relationship. And AITA for not wanting to give up my motorcycle after my girlfriend got pregnant. So me and my GF have been trying to have a kid and we have been successful. And she's currently 2 months pregnant. We were just hanging out and she told me that she expected me to sell my motorcycle soon cause it was just too dangerous of a hobby to have as a soon-to-be dad. I told her I wasn't going to do that since I've been riding for the past 10 years and been perfectly fine and she's just overreacting. She told me that this was something she wasn't going to budge on and that I had to do it. I told her that it wasn't her choice to make and I wasn't going to give up my hobbies just cause I was about to become a dad and that she should have brought this up back when we decided to start trying for a kid. AITA for telling my wife she has to stay home to watch the kids until she replaces the nanny she fired because I work from home. My wife Danielle 33 has a job that requires her to go into the office every day. I 42 work from my home office. We have 2 children 2/4. We had a nanny, Esme, whom we hired after we moved to this city for my wife's job. We do not have family in this city. Esme was with us since we got here 6 months ago. She was excellent at her job and she was a pleasant person in general. Danielle got it into her head that Esme was going to try and get me away from her. She fired her. It was a ridiculous assertion. I love my wife, but she insisted. She then proceeded to kibosh any nanny that the agencies sent, even the male one, because she thought it was weird to have a male nanny. She wants me to watch the kids since I'm home anyway. I said that there was no way that was happening. I bring home 65% of our income. I cannot watch the kids and work. I have dealt with this temporarily by inviting my parents to stay with us so they can watch the kids. Danielle hates this. She likes my folks but she doesn't like having them here 100% of the time. However, neither her mom or dad are able to help. I told her that if she wants my parents to go home she either has to replace our nanny or she has to stay home to watch the kids. She says that I'm an a-hole for devaluing her work and expecting her to watch the kids because she's the woman. I'm not. I think she created this situation, and it's her responsibility to deal with it. AITA for telling my grandmother stop trying to make me to be her unalive daughter. I-18 Fahrenheit was named after my aunt who was unalive in a car accident at 15, almost 20 years ago. I was told when I was born. My grandma saw my hair and begged my parents to name me after my aunt. They agreed. From a young age, I was aware she favored me. It also caused my other cousins to resent me. I didn't like her favoritism towards me and just wanted to be treated normal. She would often say, "You have red hair like your aunt or your aunt used to like art." I'm not into art and would encourage me to take it up. I refused and it would upset her. "Your auntie liked her hair in this style." I complained to my parents and they said that I just bring her comfort. Whatever. My 18th was 2 weeks ago and me and my friends planned to have a weekend road trip. My grandma disapproved and said my aunt would have done a party at home and I finally lost it and said that's because I'm not her. Stop trying to make me be your unalive daughter. I'm sick off it. My grandma started crying and left the room. I immediately felt bad. I got yelled at by family for making my grandma cry and my dad was the only one who looked troubled and stuck up for me and told everyone to leave. My mother was upset with me and like everyone else, demanded I apologize to my grandma, but I refused. My dad told me not to worry about it and just go enjoy my road trip. It should be settled down by the time I get back, except it hasn't. Everyone's still angry and my grandma hasn't spoken to me either. AITA for not giving my husband food if it was made with a blender that he was mad about me buying. I bought myself a nice blender. I work part-time at home and also watch the young kids that are too young for preschool. Due to me staying home I cook a lot, which I enjoy so it's not a big deal. Now the issue is that he was pissed how much the blender was at $125. This annoyed me greatly since I used my fun money for it. And it is a household tool even if he won't use it. I thought we were over it but I pulled it out again to make a smoothie. And he made more comments about a waste of money. And stupid buy. I had the conversation with him about the whole situation again. He made more comments next time I took it out and I had enough. Now every time I make something using a blender I don't give him any. It came to a head today. I made a soup and I used the blender. I told him I used the stupid blender to make it so he can't have any and make his own food. This caused a huge argument and he thinks I am a petty jerk, but I have told him so many times to not call my purchases a waste. AITA for taking it so far.